Have you ever felt like your patience is just running out? Like it's a battery that's constantly in the red? Well, today we're going to dive into a really powerful idea. What happens when you finally reach that point where you just stop wasting time on things that hurt you and you start living a more authentic life?
So let's start with this. What is your patience for? It sounds like a simple question, right? But before we go any further, just take a second and really think about it. Where does your patience actually go? Who or what is really deserving of it? Kind of keep that thought in the back of your mind as we go through this.
And this quote, this is the spark that starts the whole thing. It's not about becoming arrogant or cold, not at all. It's about a really deep internal shift in your priorities. It's that moment you finally realize your time and your emotional energy are not unlimited resources. They are incredibly precious. And that realization, well, it's a massive turning point. It's a conscious choice you make to literally change the rules of how you engage with the world, all based on a new respect for your own inner peace.
And it's so important that we get this distinction right. Setting these new boundaries isn't an act of arrogance or some big ego trip. It's an act of self-preservation. It's about finally choosing to protect your own well-being instead of constantly trying to manage how other people see you.
So, once you make that decision inside, how does it actually start to show up on the outside? Well, it begins by redrawing your social boundaries and getting real clear on what you will no longer tolerate from other people. And some of the first things to go are these huge energy vampires. You know, that constant cynicism that just poisons every possibility. The excessive criticism that isn't constructive, it's just meant to tear you down. And of course, the endless demands that people put on your time. You just decide you're not going to participate in that negativity anymore. And it's not just about what you stop taking from others. It's also about what you stop giving. It's that feeling when you realize the will is just gone. You just don't have it in you anymore to keep investing in things that aren't genuine or aren't coming back to you. This is about ending what is, let's be honest, an exhausting performance. I mean, think about it. How much energy do we waste trying to please people who we know don't even like us, or trying to be warm to people who give us nothing but coldness back? This is the moment you decide to invest your emotional energy only where it's actually valued and returned. So, once you get those external boundaries sorted out, the focus naturally starts to turn inward. And this next phase, it's all about rejecting inauthenticity. It becomes this quest for what's real, both in other people and in yourself. And this is a hard, clear line in the sand. There are no negotiations here. The second manipulation or lying enters the picture, the patience just runs out. It becomes a zero-tolerance policy for people who are operating in bad faith. This commitment to honesty goes even deeper. It's a complete rejection of all things superficial. You know, the pretense, the hypocrisy, the dishonesty, and I love this one, cheap praise. That flattery that you know isn't genuine at all, you just decide you're not going to coexist with it anymore. Now, here's a very specific kind of inauthenticity. We've all met someone like this, right? The person who uses their knowledge not to share or to help people understand, but to make themselves feel superior and make others feel small. This philosophy completely rejects that. Knowledge should be a bridge, not a weapon. And the final part of this big clear out is just stepping away from the constant background noise of life, the gossip, the pointless conflicts, the endless game of comparing yourself to others. It's a conscious choice to pick peace over drama. So after you've cleared out all this negativity, all this inauthenticity, what's left? What starts to grow in that new space? Well, a new, much stronger worldview. This new worldview means you stop trying to deal with rigid, inflexible people, the ones who see everything as black or white. Instead, you start to believe in a world of opposites. You embrace the complexity of life, you accept that things are nuanced and people are messy. It's just a more mature, flexible way of looking at everything. And when it comes to your most important relationships, your friendships, the standards become crystal clear, and they're completely non-negotiable. Friendship has to be built on trust. Without loyalty, there is nothing. Betrayal is an immediate deal breaker. End of story. And other things just become harder to stomach too. You find you have a really hard time being around people who can't just give a simple compliment or a bit of encouragement, or people who are constantly exaggerating, or even people who don't like animals, which is often a little barometer for empathy, right? These become your new, simple filters for who gets your time. So where does this all lead? After setting all these boundaries and defining all these new standards, everything can basically be boiled down to one single, powerful rule. On top of it all, it really just comes down to this. And there it is. That's the ultimate takeaway from this entire philosophy. Your patience is no longer an infinite resource that you just give away freely to everybody. It becomes a precious gift, and it absolutely must be earned. So, as we wrap up, I'm going to leave you with that same question from the beginning, but with a whole new perspective. After everything we've talked about, ask yourself, who in your life has truly earned your patience? The answer to that, well, it just might change everything for you.